to Cast That Movie, a podcast where two dudes who have absolutely no credentials or experience in the entertainment industry conjure up film projects that we would like to see that are based on pop culture events, news events, or whatever the fuck we think would be inspiring and an interesting movie. And then, the fun part, we both go ahead and assemble our dream cast for said project without sharing our choices with each other ahead of time. And we debate and defend our picks as well as our overall vision of the film. It is super, super geeky. Anyway, my name is Joe McDougall, and I am joined with my forever PIC, Tom Van Horton. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Tom?
Well, hello, everybody. Tom Van Horton here, your family favorite. I purposely, just to preface some things, will throw things in here just to throw Joe off. So That's going to be some of the fun.
That sounds like, and this is meant to be fun. We do have some games planned. Everybody likes games. Tom, do you like games?
I do like games as long as they're fun games. You know, boring old people games like chess, not so much a fan of anymore.
Well, you're in luck because our games are specifically meant to be fun. So we got that going for us. Anyway, so the concept of the show is basically we're going to pick two projects. The first is a failed project from the past. So basically, it could be big budget or whatever, just something that was anticipated in the past that, for whatever reason, and we'll probably document that reason, did not go well or was an outright failure. And so what we do is we go back in time and we each pick a director or a visionary who we would want to basically take over the project instead of the person or persons that did. And then we also recast the movie with what we feel are better picks for those roles. The second part then is a contemporary dream project where we basically just take, as I said, pop culture, it could be a news event, anything, and we say, that's a movie I'd want to see. Let's cast that bitch. So yeah, I mean, it should be fun. I mean, we're kind of new to this, and we're going to kind of feel our way through it. This is our first episode, right, Tom?
It is the inaugural episode, correct. So there'll be some things that maybe we move around, change, whatever. But, we're going to have fun today. More of a pilot, which is great because every one of these things probably had a pilot, at least the shows or the Dream Project. And, maybe movies need pilots. There's been a lot of bad movies. Cats probably should have been seen before it was released, and they had to change it. The movie got DLC, Scott. They literally changed the movie like a video game before the audience got it.
Right, and you'd think, with Sonic the Hedgehog, at least they had the good grace to make their changes before they released it out on the public, not do it on the fly. Not saying that that's going to be a good movie, and I probably won't, voluntarily see it, but at least they saw or heard the feedback ahead of time and didn't just be like, here, you guys are going to take this, and then we'll change things afterwards. And let's do it that way, because I don't think that was a very winning strategy.
The story goes that James Gordon hasn't even walked out before the premiere started, and when asked about it later, said, "I'll watch it at some point eventually, maybe."
Yeah, it was a money grab, money grab. Yeah, good for him. But anyway, we should also warn you that both of us, first off, we're not in the same location right now. I don't know how apparent that is to everybody. Tom.
Who's this Paul you speak of? We don't like him. You keep bringing him up. You know what? I'm tired of you bringing up your original co-host of the show. All right? He's a dick. He didn't show up. You got me.
All right. So Tom lives about 50 miles from where I live, but yet both of us were too lazy to come to each other. So we were like, screw it. Let's just Zoom this thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing right now. We're not face to face. We don't even have our webcams activated. We can't even see each other. We could both be stark naked for all we know. And
that's
it makes me more relaxed. And if it makes you more relaxed, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I tend to work with no pants. It's just how I am.
So piggybacking on all of that, we both have a lot of kids, and there's a very good chance that there are going to be background noises. I, for one, have a 9-day-old baby, and you may hear some screaming because she is a little banshee. You may hear some screaming going on. Just fair warning, there might be noises, and you know what? I don't I don't feel like we need to justify to that, you people.
No,
You people.
I don't think we do. And I have 4 crotch goblins and terranomes, so that tend to just, run rampant. I have no control over my life at this point. So, I said, let's just do this. And, if there's interference or feedback, because my kids feel like they need to be in everything that I do. So they might just want to jump in at some point, which would be tragic.
Well, we said we're open to guests, so I mean,
we are. We did say that.
So we don't want to be hypocrites on our first episode. So if it happens, it happens. All right. So Tom, what do you say we take our first commercial break and come on back and we'll get this bitch rolling?
I love that. Go for it. Yes, let's do our first ad break.
All right. We'll be back in a few. Hey, Macho Van Horton, you have kids, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, if your kids are anything like my kids, all they talk about day and night is how much they want to grow up to be a professional wrestler.
Ooh, yeah.
I bring this up because I'm proud to announce that Swole Bodies Gym in Santa Monica is offering their first ever Little Rumblers summer camp for all children, ages 4 to 8. All shapes, sizes, and genders are welcome. What do you think about that, Macho Van Horton?
Ooh, that's the cream of the crop.
At Swole Body's Little Rumblers Summer Camp, your tyke will learn how to grapple, they'll learn how to wrestle, and they'll learn how to carbo load. You love to carbo load, don't you, Macho Van Horton?
Ooh, yeah, brother, carbo load is the best.
In short, they'll learn how to shred it and go get it. Now, camp runs from June 10th to 23rd at the reasonable price of only $850 per student per session. At 2 sessions a day, that's only $1,700 to get your young one jacked. Oh, God, that could have been worded better. Anyway, go to swolebodies.netcom for all the deets. Swole Bodies Gym in Santa Monica, where gains get got.
The only way you're going to make it to the top of the Macho Mountain.
And if the medicine makes you sicker in the morning, sicker in the mornings like you say you need, hold on to memories.
All right, welcome back to Cast That Movie. We navigated our first successful commercial break there, Tom.
We sure did. I wish it was old enough for me. I want to go to that.
I know, it sounds amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. So one segment we want to kind of try to make a standard, staple, if you will, to the podcast is just talking about like current casting news and kind of our hot take on, basically our opinion on it, whether we think it's good casting, bad casting, indifferent. If it's indifferent, we probably won't bring it up. But so anyway, I'm going to kick it to you, Tom. What casting news in the very recent past has caught your attention?
So I'm a giant nerd. You know this about me.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy. I am totally admitting to my nerddom. And the DC universe to me is a disaster, right? Like they are not Marvel in any way, shape, or form. And they've decided they're going to reboot Batman and make the Batman.
Sure.
I am not entirely thrilled with this casting.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go into it because this isn't our bit, but I'm just going to say some of the casting choices. And I'll say if I'm kind of yay or nay on it. So Robert Pattinson is Batman, is Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's made some questionable choices, but he could surprise me in regards that I kind of wonder if he's, Hayden Christensen in Glass, right? I had no hopes on him. I saw that Shattered Glass is what it was.
Shattered Glass, yeah.
Shattered Glass is what that was. And he was really good in that.
Yes.
And having seen Affleck do Batman, it's not hard to put a cowl on. It's going to be more, how is he going to portray Bruce Wayne, right? In the mask, it can be whatever. So that, I think, I think if it's more Batman focused, it's going to be good. I think it's more Bruce Wayne focused. I have my concerns.
Sure.
So they picked up Colin Farrell for the Penguin.
Yes.
Is he going to wear a fat suit?
I don't know. I mean, did you watch any of that Gotham show when that was on?
I watched like an episode or two, and I will admit, I am the worst at this because there's just so much good TV.
Right.
Like, we are really in a golden age of television.
Yes.
That's hard for me to watch everything I want to watch. So I try to catch bits of all of it, so I at least know what's going on.
Sure.
Why you bring it up?
The reason why I ask is because I'll admit I wasn't really into it either. But they do have a penguin on that show that is a little more svelte. And I thought he did fine in the role. So I don't think you need to I don't think Danny DeVito is, the prototype for the penguin necessarily. I think I don't know. It's a curious choice to me, I guess. And I trust Colin Farrell, I guess, enough to
Sure
give him also the benefit of the doubt, just like I could do with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and I will say, I feel like this is I think if rest his soul, if Philip Seymour Hoffman was around, I think he would have gotten this role.
Sure.
Like, that seems like a no-brainer to me. The other one I'm going to bring up is an indifference one, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I think that'll be fine. I personally am not a fan of Anne Hathaway, so I didn't like her in Batman Begins, so this is just a step up to me. Interesting choice here. They're going to go with Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Yes.
That seems interesting. I don't know. I mean, when I think of Andy Serkis, I think mocap, right? Like, so that again, and to come in and he has the disservice, I think, of coming in after Michael Caine. Michael Caine was a phenomenal Alfred, probably the best Alfred.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'm going to bring up Paul Dano as the Riddler. So we're going to do Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler all in the same movie.
Yes.
Now, they haven't released the plot yet, but this already reeks of too much too soon. I'm not asking for an origin story, but, I think about movies where they had threes, like Spider-Man 3. They had the three different villains. There was the other Spider-Man movie too, actually, that made that same mistake. I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they had three villains going. It's difficult to pack all that much in and give them each enough screen time and go into. I mean, yes, we're all familiar with these things, but I actually think the Penguin is more enigmatic of all of them, because he really didn't get a lot in terms of outside the Batman movie, the second Batman movie, Batman Returns. There's not a lot out there with the Penguin in terms of, like, you look at the cartoons, you look at things like that. He's always been kind of a side thing. So that's going to be kind of, I'm not sure if I'm happy with these castings.
Okay, well, I will say that I do like Andy Serkis being chosen for Alfred. I like that because I don't know, did you see, he had a role in the Marvel Universe. I believe he was in Black Panther, I want to say.
I was not Black Panther. I didn't realize he was in that. That's how awful I am.
I know. I could be thinking of a different Marvel movie anyway. It doesn't matter. But he kind of had more of a tough guy role. Oh. But I kind of like them moving away from Alfred just being this brittle old British, butler, and kind of giving him his own personality. I know they had a show on Epix. I haven't watched it yet because, like you said, there's just so much out there right now. But about Alfred Pennyworth. It's called Pennyworth. It's about Alfred Pennyworth.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just more of just trying to reinvent the Alfred character, which I'm in favor of because old Alfred is boring.
Well, you're right. But then now you're going to introduce a new type of Alfred. So now you got four characters that are going to kind of have their own things going on, which again makes me even more concerned.
Right.
Oh, and they have Falcone in it. They're going to have John Turturro. You can't be wrong. You can't go wrong with John Turturro.
No.
But he's also going to be Falcone. So now you got technically four villains. One, Falcone's always been kind of in the background, not really a big deal. So
he's not a super villain.
No, he's not a super villain. Right. He's more of a character villain.
Right.
And this feels like they're packing too much too soon. And this seems to be the way that the DCU is just going about it.
Yeah. I've said already, like, I know they're not even that far into it, that they just need to scrap it and start over. I just think it's so jumbled, and it's just, do we have a Superman anymore? He's the Witcher now.
Right. And which was great. I prefer him as the Witcher. He was awesome.
Sure. But with Marvel, they kept it tight. A couple recastings, Edward Norton, got the boot, but yes, but it still felt like one entity. This just feels like a mishmash, and then the quality is not consistent. There's not a through line of quality like there was with Marvel. So yeah, I'm skeptical too, but it's a Batman movie. I'll at least give it a shot because it's a Batman movie.
Agreed. I'll see it. So what did you pick for your recasting or
So
for your casting news?
Sure. So mine's actually a television series that kind of caught my attention. It is called Impeachment: American Crime Story. This is not about the current impeachment. This is about the Bill Clinton impeachment, and it's made by Ryan Murphy. He did the O.J. Simpson American Crime Story. I think Versace, I want to say, was this second one. I didn't watch that one. The O.J. Simpson one was really good, but the casting that caught my attention was Billy Eichner has been cast as Matt Drudge.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and you know Matt Drudge, right?
I know
He's
Drudge.
the one that
the Drudge Report.
Sure, the Drudge Report, and he's also the one that got the story out there that this was a scandal in waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Betty Gilpin from Glow. Have you ever seen the show Glow on Netflix?
I have watched the first season.
Okay, so she's the blonde. I don't have her character name listed here, but she's the blonde whose husband cheats on her with the brunette.
Yes.
All right, she is going to be playing Ann Coulter in Impeachment: American Crime Story.
Oh, that's not a bad casting.
So it piqued my interest. Like, these are very polarizing characters. And these are two actors that I do like, but they're playing characters that I don't like. So that's always fun, and I'm sure it's going to be fun for them. And Billy Eichner is usually very watchable. So I guess that's. I mean, see, Clive Owen, I believe, is playing Bill Clinton. So there's other names too.
I like Clive Owen.
But yeah, so that's something I'm interested to see how they put that all together.
That's going to be a really interesting take on it. I do want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, it'll be something. It'll be something.
It's going to be something for sure.
All right. Well, Tom, I think we should perhaps get to the very first real segment of the show, which is our recasting.
I completely agree with you. I'm excited to get to this recasting. I just want to say I'm super excited for this recasting.
Yeah, I am too. Now, just to review the rules here. So what we're doing is we're taking a failed project from the past, which we'll divulge to you very, very shortly. And we are basically going from the beginning stages and being like, all right, this person's in charge of the vision, basically the director. And then we're also recasting all the major roles in that project, and to what we feel would be better fits for the roles that we feel would make a successful project in the end that we would want to watch, because we didn't want to watch the original version of this mess. And I will let you, Tom, tell our audience, what are we recasting today?
We are recasting, again, going into the nerddom, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm. May I say classic crap?
No, it is so classic crap. This movie, 1993. Okay, it took Nintendo 26 years to get back into making movies after this one. Now, I want to say that comes with a caveat, because they did kind of do Wizard. They did a few other things here, but they never made a movie based around an actual character till Detective Pikachu.
Wow, is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's actually
Crazy.
true. Yeah, right? Like, that's how bad this movie was.
Wow, yeah, I can't think anything else now that you mention it. There wasn't ever a Zelda movie or a Contra movie or
no, Contra. Well, okay. First of all, we got Predator, and we got Aliens. So that really was, and Contra were based upon those two things. So
muscular dudes in the jungle did get their representation in 80s film, absolutely.
So yeah. I just think Contra would have gotten lost in that mix.
I want to say too, just to add on to what you were saying, this not only set back Nintendo's film prospects or intellectual properties that were turned from Nintendo games to films, it just set back video games as a whole. Like, they were just so bad. It was like one of the first stabs at it. It was just such a miss.
Yeah, when you think about it, you had shortly after that you had Double Dragon, right? Which was terrible. And then Uwe Boll got involved in making all those really bad movies throughout the 90s. I mean, even in the 2000s, you had Doom, which had a pre-famous Rock. I mean, he was famous from the WWE, but he wasn't a famous actor, right? And
sure.
I'm shocked that after Doom, he had a career in Hollywood, that he became what he was. You know, I mean, go back and watch Doom and then watch Jumanji. It's a totally different guy.
Right.
Totally different actor.
I wonder though if with that example, it's like the property, like Doom was such a well-known thing that maybe you didn't feel so much like a Rock vehicle. You know what I mean? Like it was, but it also, like, the vehicle itself was the property, was the game Doom.
Was the game Doom. Because I forget too, Kyle Urban was in that. And Kyle Urban, I love Kyle Urban. He's great, but Jesus, that was fucking
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Dredd.
Dredd. Yep. Which I liked. The remake, that was great. Not the Sylvester Stallone one. That was another shit show. That was a shit show.
Shit, we would have done Dredd on this show if they hadn't made. We would have done Judge Dredd on this show if they hadn't made Dredd, right?
Absolutely. Same thing. I would have had us do Total Recall. Would have been top of my list as well if they hadn't redone it.
Right.
But maybe we should redo that one because the remake was terrible.
Right. So, remake the remake. And it had Colin Farrell. How could they go wrong? Anyway, so why don't you kind of just give us a quick synopsis of what happened here? Yeah.
So, I've watched a lot of things and read a lot of things about this movie, about what happened here. So Nintendo actually was not interested in ever doing this. It would never came across to it. It was actually another producer that flew to Japan and was like, I can do something with this. This is big in America. We can do this, blah, blah, blah. And other people had approached them and Nintendo said no. And he came to them with like this super ridiculous, offer. And Nintendo was like, fine, we'll give you a go. I mean, and they were so confident that Super Mario was so strong that even if this movie did bad, it wouldn't have gone wrong. Well, they went, first of all out. Like, they got the writer of Rain Man. They reached out to Dustin Hoffman. They originally wanted this to be basically a Rain Man video game movie. It was going to be about two brothers that were in this world, and Luigi, being who he was going to be kind of different, and Mario was going to be looking out for him. It was supposed to be like this really, that it was everyone who was on board and who got casted, and that's something I really want to say before we get into this, after I get done with this, was doing great. They got some directors, but they didn't have the money. So, other things started coming out, and maybe afterwards I'll talk about, when we get into discussing our choices, who some of the people they wanted in this movie were, and some of the directors and things like that. But so all these people started dropping out, the directors, the writers, all this stuff. And they end up going with the couple that created Max Headroom. And everyone who had signed on had read the original script. Well, one of the things about getting this directing couple on board was they had creative control. So they started rewriting the script before the actors were showing up. And when they walked on set, they came to basically a whole different movie, which was the techno world and all this weird stuff that you saw that had nothing to do with the video games, nothing to do with the original. And people were deflated. And that set the whole tone for the movie. There is a famous story where there's a dinosaur, the dinosaur's running around in the movie, and he's drinking coffee, and the extra burns himself.
Just that sentence right there tells you just how bad this was.
Right.
There was a dinosaur running around in the movie drinking coffee. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, drinking. Right. It doesn't make sense. I do not remember that from any of the Mario games, and believe me, I between my age and my kids, we've played them all.
Sure. And
the coffee, he burned himself in the suit, and this guy is screaming, and the director's yelling at him to be quiet and fires him. I mean, it was so disgruntled, and so. But that's what went wrong with the movie. We are going to recast, and this is something I want to say. We are going to recast, but I don't blame. I really don't blame the people that were in the movie, the actors,
right,
for this disaster, because they came into a different movie than what they originally read the script for. Like, they never got the reprint of the new version of the script.
Right.
They were never given a choice. So that's what went wrong with Super Mario Brothers.
So many things.
So I'll jump in and start with the director.
Yes.
So you are probably not going to like my choice when we get to the debates, but I don't want to get to that in between. I want to just say what I'm going to say.
Sure.
I am going to, I'm going to give you one just because I
It's
have
not
to
David Lynch, is it?
It's David Lynch.
Oh my God.
It's David Lynch.
Oh my God.
It's David Lynch. I would love to see Super Mario Brothers David Lynch. That's me. Honestly,
Okay.
though, in '93, I would have given it to Spielberg. If I had the money, if I had Nintendo money, I would have made Spielberg the director. What about you? Who would you pick for the director?
Okay, so my choice is a guy who I feel can do a lot with a little. He's very good at doing bizarro dream world type imagery on a budget, which, I mean, as we know, this movie kind of had. So I would have taken, and he's been in hot water lately for some stupid comments he's made about white men being attacked.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, it's Terry Gilliam, director of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 13 Monkeys, Brazil.
Brazil, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just feel like he could have captured kind of the mushroom world, at that time with the effects that were at his disposal. Like, they were never going to throw Jurassic Park money at this project.
No.
But he could have made it work and made it at least feel like a living, breathing, surreal world, which it definitely did not feel like in the finished product.
No. Okay. All right. Mario, this is a no-brainer to me. 1993, Danny DeVito.
What?
This is a no-brainer. It's DeVito. He's Mario. I'll get to that when we get to our choices. DeVito would, no doubt about it.
Yeah, you know what, DeVito, I will say he was the first person I wrote down, but then I struggled to pair another actor with him that wasn't twice as tall as he was.
Trust me, you're not going to like my Luigi.
Well, then that's the point, is once I settled on a Luigi, I'm like, I can't put him next to Danny DeVito. You're gonna have to put Danny DeVito on a stool the whole movie.
Okay, who do you got?
So for my Mario, definitely a upgrade in height is Oliver Platt.
Ooh, Oliver Platt. Okay.
Best known at that time, his best known role, I would say, would be as Porthos in the Three Musketeers, the all for one. Oh, that one.
Yep.
The Disney one with Sting.
Sting. Absolutely. I know that one.
And Kiefer and Charlie. I think
Charlie.
The whole Estevez gang. Yeah, that would have been my pick, because he's a solid actor. Like, he can do. I'm actually just rewatching The West Wing right now, and he's got a bit role on there.
Yep.
He can do. He's a good actor. He never got his due. He was always kind of pushed aside.
He's always a character actor.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. He was kind of the funny character actor, but I thought he really had the potential for some kind of a leading man role. And whoa, you hearing that?
I am hearing that. 1 second. I'm not sure what that was. Okay, go for
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. It's the first show. Come on.
Right. So I just exactly. I just felt like he never just got his chance, and I thought this would have been you got him on the cheap. He's a pro, and I never heard anything bad about him as far as being able to play nice with others. So he would have been my choice for Mario.
Okay. Who would have been your choice for then Luigi? Now
for Luigi, I would have chosen.
Oh, I got that one.
Let that go away first. All right. Hi, Static. I would have chosen a pre-Pulp Fiction John Travolta.
Holy shit. All right. What the fuck?
Slap a mustache on that and let it go.
Okay.
So it was really about pairing these two. Like, I could see Oliver Platt being a little more, the serious, and Mario, and then Luigi being just, John Travolta's a pretty funny guy when given the chance.
I thought Battlefield Earth was a great comedy.
So anyway, yes, I don't know. We'd have gotten him again at a pretty reasonable price, because this was, I believe, the year before Pulp Fiction hit, that totally reinvented his career. And
sorry, I apologize. I think that's coming from my end. I'll have to fix that.
No, that's fine. I don't think our technology likes my choices is all.
Well, I'm not a fan of this choice, so I maybe my microphone's pissed at you.
All right. Well, that makes me all the more curious to hear your pick for Luigi.
So again, I'm taking it from a little different, again, I like looking at these things, and I think I found a guy to work with DeVito
Okay,
in 1993. Ready for this?
I am.
Ralph fucking Macchio.
Oh God.
The Karate Kid himself. He's taller. You would have had that dynamic of the short with the tall.
Oh,
And he's, I go back. Okay, yeah, Karate Kid, man. But The Outsiders.
mhm,
He, again, I think if he was playing the kind of the straight kind of clueless, that's what Luigi is.
mhm.
To the very overwhelming. I mean, let's be honest. Even the video games, that's trope, right? Mario gets everything, and Luigi's left in the dust. And Ralph Macchio gives off that air of almost self pity, loathing. You know what I mean? I have to go. Yeah, I went with Macchio for my pick for Luigi.
Here's a serious question for you.
Absolutely.
So, do you think there's any way in hell that David Lynch would work with Ralph Macchio and be like, "That's my Luigi"?
no,
I would have thought you'd have taken Kyle MacLachlan, to be quite honest with
I
you.
would have taken Kyle MacLachlan. No, you know what? I said though I wanted Lynch, but I went with Spielberg. Right?
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted Lynch. Yeah, I prefaced that. I wanted Lynch, and I would have came up with a Lynch one, but I said I went with Spielberg. And Spielberg, he can work with a lot of people. I mean, he worked with a young Drew Barrymore. He's known for different things. I think Steven Spielberg could have gotten that childlike innocence that Ralph
Sure.
Macchio has.
See, here's what I don't like about you picking Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
You are potentially robbing the world of Jurassic Park and Schindler's List right now for a Super Mario Brothers movie.
I'm saying again, if we had the Nintendo money, if everything went right, which should have gone right, Nintendo should have been pumping money into this left and right?
Mhm.
And okay, we would have still gotten Jurassic Park. You know what, man? Okay, it would have happened. I mean, James Cameron's eventually going to give us Avatar 2, right? That's
Sure.
eventually going to happen. Just like I might get the 5th Game of Thrones book.
Yeah. Yep.
So I get what you're saying, but imagine if video game movies had started with Spielberg
Yeah.
and what that would have done, right? Sure, you might not have gotten Jurassic Park, but you might have gotten Turok, the dinosaur first-person shooter movie. Could have been the next Jurassic. Could have been Jurassic Park.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on to the princess here.
Okay.
Who did you pick for your princess?
I went again thinking 1993. I was thinking about one of my first creepy, childhood crushes that we were allowed to have in the 90s.
Every crush you've had has always been creepy, but go on.
You know my background. So Christy Swanson. Coming off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Nice. That's a good pick.
I think she really could have done it. She's got the blonde hair. She kind of had she played very well as Buffy being kind of the thing. I think she totally could have nailed the princess role.
Oh, okay. My pick actually would love your Luigi pick because they acted together in The Karate Kid.
Oh, shit.
For Princess, I have cast Elizabeth Shue.
No, shit. That would have been genius. You have to like my pick.
So now this is pre-leaving Las Vegas Elizabeth Shue. So she's kind of a little bit of a lull, between her breakout in The Karate Kid and then her, kind of leaving Las Vegas, which kind of like put her on the serious map again. Not to downplay her other projects, but anyway, she's a good enough actress that I just feel like it's kind of a nothing role. I mean, the princess is just this throwaway, damsel in distress role. What do you really do with that? But I just wanted to pick somebody that I thought, you could get for a decent price, but who also is got some actual acting chops. So
I can go with that. So I like that pick. So now we're getting to the tough one here. I had a struggle with this one. Who would you do with King Koopa?
Yeah, the meat and potatoes here. So with Koopa, I would first off do animatronics or costume. I figure this is post. I mean, the costume design in the original movie was just a joke.
Terrible.
Considering, I mean, this is post Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so you can put together a big reptile lizard creature that looks decent. If you put half the effort into it, right? So we'd go that direction with the on-screen presence. But as far as the voice, I would have chosen none other than Mr. Bob Hoskins.
Oh, you would have moved the Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, because
Right.
he's got that. I could just totally see him doing an evil lizard voice effectively. You can even let him keep some of that old limey accent of his too.
I like that. That's actually really clever. I like that.
Who did you come up with on the Coopster?
Well, so I struggled. I struggled really hard with this one, and I almost kept
Dennis Hopper.
I almost kept Dennis Hopper because I love Dennis Hopper, and knowing what I know, I think he could have done well had the script worked. But since we're going to recast, I was thinking of another really talented actor that at this point in their life was probably you could get on the cheap or cheaper. You probably need about 3 trailers worth of food for him at this point. I was going with, and that's also why I was thinking as far as King Koopa, slimy, old, fat Marlon Brando.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, this would have been prior to Island of Dr. Moreau, right? Yeah, I believe that was mid-90s.
Yep.
So, but he was well, I think, in the Crazy Town.
He was well in the Crazy Town at that
point. Do you not worry that involving Marlon Brando is always a roll of the dice?
Yeah.
He could have just he could have been the new thing that ruined this project.
Well, I do, but I also think, okay, it's King Koopa, and King Koopa it really runs things like a mafia, right? And that's why I also thought maybe he could dig into some of that Godfather style, right? It'd be almost like a parody of the Godfather. And yeah, it would have been a roll of the dice, but you know what, man? Give that guy some blow, and you can get some great acting out of him. I mean, he needs the heroin. He needed the heroin money.
I always wondered if Marlon Brando had a sense of humor.
No, I don't think he did. I think he was so method, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rumors in the play and things like that was that he was really method. I think maybe if you got him like at a Hollywood party or something, and you got him on the right night. But at the same time, I have to imagine the blast that they had on Apocalypse Now, because it gave 36-year-old Charlie Sheen a fucking heart attack.
Martin Sheen. Yes.
Martin Sheen, a heart attack from the amount of blow they were fucking doing.
Right.
So yeah, that's a tough one. No, I bet on set he was a fucking nightmare.
And see, what I would worry about most with your cast is I would worry that Marlon Brando would literally destroy Ralph Macchio. See, I'm so worried about Ralph Macchio in this project, dude. I just feel like he's just kicking around with heavyweights that would just crush him.
And again, I thought about this, and we'll get that to the choices. So, what I would do with this, I'm gonna move on to Toad and Yoshi here, and it's 1993, right? Jurassic Park is just right there. The CGI has come a long way. Yep. I mean, I can go back and watch Jurassic Park with my kids, and it holds up to some movies I've seen in like 2010. Right, and it's better than some of the straight that we're still getting with straight to DVD. So, I think Toad and Yoshi work as CGI characters.
Okay.
I don't. And as far as voices go, Toad's got that high pitched voice. Okay. I'm going to go with probably my favorite voice of all time, Gilbert Godfrey. I'm going to go with Gilbert Godfrey. Yeah. Mario, what are you doing, Mario? I'm just trying to get in the Koopa town. Princess. You're at the wrong castle. That type of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Why not?
Hey, he is hot right off a Problem Child. He was in demand. Why not?
Right. And Yoshi, I think he could just it didn't matter. Just get a stock of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yoshi.
No, I'm with you on Yoshi. I don't know that I'd go CGI because, for one thing, I don't have Steven Spielberg directing it.
right, fair enough. I mean, if I had Lynch directing it, I wouldn't have done CGI. Let me tell you that right now.
So with Yoshi, I would have done similar to Koopa. It's probably some kind of animatronic type setup. Yeah, no voice. I mean, there's no purpose there. But for Toad, only one name came to mind, and I wrote it down here when I was doing my choices. I put, of course, Warwick Davis.
Oh,
of course, Warwick Davis.
Willow.
Of course, Willow. Leprechaun.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, the Harry Potter movies. Yeah, we could look at like doing some kind of an edit to the voice, adding a couple, octaves to his voice through the post.
Just do him with Gilbert Godfrey.
Warwick Davis with Gilbert Gottfried doing the voice. How could that ever go wrong?
I think it's genius. I think
Yeah.
he just won everything.
So yeah, that's I think that's really the only roles that matter. Everything else is just background. But yeah, I think I don't. How do you feel about your choices?
Well, okay, so
How do you feel about my
I was gonna
choices?
say my choices I'm happy with, fucker. I spent a lot of time putting in my choices. So I think, with your choices,
Hmm.
I'm going to give you a little thing here because we both went to Danny DeVito, right? We both said, hey, we got to do Danny DeVito. He was their first choice for Mario, by the way.
Sure.
So, I think we both are right there. I think Oliver Platt, I mean, between the two, I'm going to go with DeVito. I just think in the 90s, again, knowing what I know and knowing how Oliver Platt came, I'm going to have to go with DeVito.
Okay.
On that regards. But I don't think Oliver Platt's a bad choice either. I think definitely, again, if what happened with, I would have gotten him before Bob Hoskins, and I like Bob Hoskins, but I do like that choice.
Okay.
What is your problem with my now let's going on the Luigi. What's your problem with my Machio?
I like Ralph Macchio. It feels too big for him. It really does. Like, I get he was the Karate Kid, but I don't know. He was at that point in his life a nobody. I think this was, 6-7 years since the last Karate Kid movie, and that's all he had going for him.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and I say this knowing full well that I'm talking about post Look Who's Talking to John Travolta here. So it's not like he had a whole lot of chips,
Yeah, I
play with either. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I like him still. I like him, as Danny San in the YouTube show that he's in now. I like him. I don't know. I think our Luigi's were probably, for both of us, maybe our weakest picks.
Our weakest, absolutely. And again, I will only defend Ralph Macchio in the regards that, that's the whole point, right? Luigi's supposed to be this side character that nobody really gives a shit about. You're not seeing the Super Mario Brothers for Luigi, right?
Sure.
And that's not to downplay anything, because I love Ralph Macchio, honestly. I think I actually really do. He's like Beck. He doesn't fucking age. And I hate him and love him for that. But at the same time, he's around all this star power, and he does always. I mean, think about him again and how, even though he was way looking at the outsiders, you had C. Thomas Howell, you had the Swayze, you had the Sutherland, you had the Sheen brothers,
Sure.
as I like to call them. And here's Ralph Macchio, and he's supposed to be overpowered by everyone, and he can work around that, I think. So I think that's the only saving grace there. I'll be honest with you. Fuck Travolta. Really, I am no. I mean, you could have put a mustache on him, but my God, outside of before and after Pulp Fiction, I don't have any love for the Travolta.
Fair enough.
And I think there's a reason why Tarantino never used them again.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, and that's kind of Tarantino's MO, isn't it? That he goes back to the well, and he didn't do it with that guy. So
yeah, he's like a Lynch. He's absolutely like Lynch. He works with his well. He has these actors that he kind of builds to know how he's going to direct,
right?
And kind of keeps that talent pool there.
Sure. I don't think either of us had a problem with each other's princess picks. I think they were both fine.
And honestly, knowing what I know now, I would have taken yours.
Yeah.
Just for the Elizabeth Shue Ralph Macchio reunion. That could have been funny. That could have been in the ad, right?
Yeah.
The first time since Karate Kid 1, Ralph Macchio and Elizabeth Shue together again.
Because we know you've been waiting for it.
You've been waiting
on the edge of your seat for this reunion.
You've been clamoring. You've been blowing up our fucking phones. Get them together.
Koopa, see here, Marlon Brando. I think I've made pretty clear my reservations with having anything to do with Marlon Brando in the 90s.
And I will concede to that, right? Like, I am totally aware that I'm putting a powder keg in my movie. Yes, but I was just thinking about slimy, gross, kind of fat, and that's really terrible things to say about Brando because my God, he had a golden era.
Oh, dude, he was a stud back in
It was
the
a
50s.
stud, dude. Along the waterfront, I had to watch for film school, and I fucking loved that movie, right? And
Yeah.
but 90s, dude, it's like what we got with Brando is what we would have gotten if Elvis hadn't died on the shitter.
Ugh.
Right? I mean, there's a really good comparison there. Like, could you imagine the music that Elvis would have been putting out in the 90s?
Right.
Because he would have.
Yeah, it would have been something.
It would have been something. I like your coupe. Your coupe is better than mine. I'll totally admit that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Toad and Yoshi, we kind of came down with it's kind of a wash there. Toad, I had Warwick Davis, and you had Gilbert Godfrey, of all people.
The voice of Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, man, I can't not say I will go with yours, even though mine is logically better in every way, shape, or form. Oh, God.
I love the idea of combining it. I love the idea of combining it. I really do.
Call it a draw.
Call it a draw. We won't do the CGI. We're going to get Warwick Davis, but we're going to overdub his voice with Gilbert Godfrey. I'm in. Like, if that happened, there would have been no way I would have not seen that fucking movie.
All right, Tom. Well, I think we have well covered what we would do with Super Mario Brothers back in 1993. It's too bad they didn't have us, but, we were just middle schoolers at the time, so what can we do? I think we should go to another break, and then I think we'll come back and have more fun and games. What do you say to that?
I love fun and games.
All right, we will be back in a sec.
Damn, I look into the stars this night. Come to crystallize our city in its halo of artificial light.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, what?
How many VHS tapes do you have over there? I'm just kidding. Fuck you. I know you're just like me, and you have a library of pristine VHS tapes that you got from not returning your Gutbuster rentals because you were with me when I got them. But we're afraid to watch them because we're going to ruin that magnetic strip playing them back through that old Quasar top loader VHS player that you have hanging out at your place.
True story.
But now, guess what I heard of?
What did you hear of, Tom?
It's VHDS. It's the VHS player that won't ruin tapes and upscales to 4K.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, so get this. We can watch Highlander 2 and Dick Kick City 2, Tuna Town, guilt-free.
Nice.
That's VHDS. Get one now at Satelliteville.
Found myself at Palmer sipping whiskey alone, just scrolling through the settings on the cellular phone. Do you know?
Welcome back to Cast That Movie. We are rocking through our first episode, Tom. I'm feeling pretty good. I think this is going mediocre.
I think it's going mediocre, more like molasses, buddy.
Yeah, well, that's all we were really hoping for. We are virgins to this, after all. I want to play another game, is what I want to do. What do you do? Are you okay with playing another game, Tom?
I am always down for playing another game.
Well, tell you what, I got a game in
is there
mind.
nudity involved? Am I okay to keep my pants off?
You can do whatever you want because I can't see you. But no, it's not required, I guess I should say. I want to play a game, and this game is called Is This Where Are They Now? And I realized the grammar on that is awful, but basically, this is a game where each of us pick a former star who has disappeared from the public light, and we tell the story of where they are in this day and age. And basically, you tell your story, and then I decide, is this true, or are you just giving me a whole bunch of bullshit?
Oh, I like this game.
If you like it so much, why don't you kick it off for us? Then?
All right.
God.
All right. I have a little-known actor by the name of Jake Lloyd. Familiar with Jake Lloyd over there, Jode?
I am. It's Anakin.
Anakin Skywalker. All right. So, where is Anakin Skywalker now? Well, Jake Anakin Skywalker Lloyd, or if you want to talk about it, he was Jamie Langston in Jingle All the Way.
That's how I prefer to remember him, but go on.
Go on. Has had a bit of a rough time since that. He had to retire from acting due to being bullied at school, which is why he's no longer acting.
That's
In 2015, they responded to an assault by Lloyd from his own mother. He arrived at her house, started verbally berating her, and then proceeded to physically assault her.
oof.
Later that year, he was arrested under the name of Jake Broadbent for reckless driving, driving without a license, and resisting arrest. He was later kept at the Colton County Detention Center, where he was transferred to a psychiatric facility for schizophrenia.
Jesus, this is very sad.
Am I bullshitting you, or am I telling you the truth?
No, you're telling me the truth, because I've actually am aware of this, and it is really sad.
It is very sad.
It's very sad.
It's very sad. It's very sad. I wanted to pick something kind of sad. I think we've been having too much fun, and I wanted to bring down your game a little bit.
No, we got to calibrate now and then. No, but yeah, I mean, it's a sad story, and it is too bad. I mean, that's the risk though with child actors, right? Like I would never let my kids act, never in a million years.
I'm so glad you say that, right? Because people. Let's be honest. Stop being humble here for a minute, as I have been this whole podcast.
You are nothing if not humble.
Absolutely, I have some good-looking kids. Right, I do. I have some good-looking kids, and people have approached me and asked me, "Have you thought about putting, especially my 4-year-old, in some modeling things?" And I said, "Fuck off! I'm not putting my kid through that. No, absolutely. You can't pay me enough to put them through that. I mean, there's just been too many stories. Hell, there should be a podcast called "What the Fuck Went Wrong with This Childhood Actor."
Yeah.
Right. And so, no, it's actually very, very tragic. And what makes it even worse with him is that, here he had an obvious, schizophrenia can develop, typically during adolescence. So here he was, and he was ridiculed for being Anakin. And then you throw that on top of him. I mean, it was just a disaster. It was just a recipe for nothing good to come of it. So
yeah, and it's just, you wonder, like, I don't know, like, what he had for support system around him or anything like that, but whatever it was, it obviously wasn't adequate. And yeah, that's too bad. But yes, your story is absolutely tragically true. And now I get to give you a little story. It is also about a former child actor. So, Tom, are you ready to play Is This Where Are They Now?
Oh, I am so down for this, dude.
All right, here we go. Okay. So here we go. So my former star is Paris Themen, I want to say is how you pronounce his name. It's Themmen. I tell you that, but don't be Googling him now.
I'm not Googling him.
And he played Mike TV in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Mike TV, holy obscure shit, dude! What the fuck are you doing to me here? This is not fair.
So you're familiar, you're saying?
Oh, I'm familiar with Mike TV. He was probably one of the best kids next to Augustus fucking Gloop.
Yes, right. And I thought about doing Augustus Gloop, but I settled on Mike TV because he is more obscure, and I thought there's less chance you might have heard what may or may not happen to him. So now I'm going to tell you what happened to him, and you tell me if this is bullshit or not.
Okay, I'm in.
So after Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Paris quit acting and eventually went to NYU, graduated from there, and then worked jobs in various fields before popping up out of nowhere on Jeopardy in 2018, introducing himself only as an avid backpacker who had backpacked in over 60 countries. Not a word about his iconic role as Mike TV. Now, Twitter recognized him and proceeded to blow up with screenshots of the long-lost child star. He ended up coming in second, winning about $7,000. And it later came out that his wife had been on Jeopardy 3 years prior and had been a 2-day champion, winning $32,000. So this is a much happier story than the one you told me. Yours, very sad, turned out to be true. Is this less depressing story that I just told you true or not true?
I have to think that I would have heard if he showed up on Jeopardy, right? But at the same time, not many people give a fuck about him. Jesus, you threw me for a loop on this one. It's odd enough where I got to go true.
And you are correct. This is all true.
Wow, I thought I was going to be wrong. I thought you made that bullshit up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I got a good imagination, but I don't know that I'd have gone the Jeopardy route
Right.
with my what is there our famous child actor up to these days. But no, he did. He worked various industries, like I said. He did, I believe, some finance. He worked behind the scenes on some like commercial casting or something like that. So he was loosely tied to entertainment, just not obviously in the role that he was at in his prime when he was like, what, 12?
Wow.
And then he has one screen credit I didn't mention. I think it was for Star Trek Voyager, where it looks like a background character or something.
Holy shit.
And then the next thing he popped up on Jeopardy and didn't say who he was, and they all knew it on Twitter that's Mike TV, God damn it.
How did I not hear about this? Like, how did you and I not have this discussion that, hey, Mike TV showed up on fucking Jeopardy?
Well, man, our radars are big, but they don't catch everything, and it slipped my mind, to be honest. I was originally going to do Charlie, but I don't know, as I was like considering doing Charlie, the actor that played Charlie, kind of ran it by my wife, and she's like, no, I knew, yeah, he's a veterinarian. I've heard that. So like in his is a happy story too. He ended up quitting acting and went become a very successful veterinarian. And, you know, I don't know, whatever they cast that of that movie all did seemingly very well afterwards, which thank God. One kid's movie turned out okay for all the cast members, but no. And then I just saw an article on IMDb that was linked to the Charlie actor that about Paris. And that's the rabbit hole that got me to him. And I'm like, this was perfect for our game.
That is perfect for the game. That blew me the fuck away, dude. That's phenomenal.
Well,
so we both went true this go around.
We both went true, and we both guessed correctly. So
yeah,
we're winners,
shit.
man. We're winners all around.
All right, should we get to the next project? This one was tough for me. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, this was not easy. I struggled on some of my picks as well. So do you want me to introduce this, or you want to introduce it? I'm going to leave it up to you, Tom.
I did. You know what? No, I'm going to be fair. I did Super Mario Brothers. I want you to introduce this one.
All right. Fair enough. I accept your challenge. So for our original project, we decided on our first go to do something that's not super original. We are making a Married with Children, the movie. So rules here are it's contemporary, so everything's up to date. And as of now, we are looking to pick a director and cast a movie featuring the Bundy clan, as most people might remember. Fun fact, too, about Married with Children, and I think I knew this, but I maybe didn't, I don't know. But this was the first show that kicked off the fledgling Fox network in 1987.
I did know that now that you say it. Yes, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Same thing with me. Like I knew it, but I didn't. But when I read it, I'm like, yeah, well, now I know it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very controversial. My mom hated it. Like I loved this show when I was young. My mom despised Al Bundy. Thought he was just a gross, and she's right. I mean, he's terrible, but funny. But yeah, I mean, and it's. I think the big challenge with a movie like this is how do you adapt it for like the post #MeToo era? Because Al Bundy is the exact opposite.
Yeah, you know, I knew we were going to have this conversation.
How can you not? It's Al Bundy.
It's Al Bundy, right? But you know, Al Bundy. I mean, Married with Children was really just an update to All in the Family.
True. And
in a way, if you do it smart, and I think you'll see this a little bit, especially the director and the casting and things that I picked, it becomes a parody of itself in a way, right? I mean, Archie Bunker, and Al Bundy, although be it these terrible people, they're given glimpses of, you know, well, the show isn't a drama or you know, the characters don't actually grow over time. They're kind of kept the same. They're given heavy subjects where they come out doing the right things.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right.
There was a lot of very special All in the Family moments, you know. You didn't have that with Married with Children. It never took itself seriously.
No. And, you know, I mean, when you look at what Ed O'Neill's done and things like that and the way it was done in Marcy and everything like that and some of the background characters in it, they were all in on it, right? I think the biggest problem that you had with this is like was, where I think we get some of these problems that we have kind of with movies. Like, for example, I'm going to get real controversial here, is Joker, right? A lot of people were super, before it even came out, this is going to be an incel movie. And, it wasn't. And I kind of brought the point of, if you find yourself empathizing with Arthur Fleck and going, he's the good guy through all of this, you're the one with the problem. Right. And I think that was kind of the point, was Al was constantly challenged on being this asshole. And yeah, he was the head character, but he caved so often. You know what I mean? And I think you have to kind of keep that when you do the movie. What's your thoughts on it?
No, I agree. I mean, well, one thing I remember is, it felt like he was supposed to be kind of the dunce character, right? But then about halfway through the show, I remember, every time he would come on screen, it'd be like all these dudes in the studio audience would be like, yeah, Al, just cheer him like he was this working class. Yeah, he's like this working class hero type. And he wasn't. He was a parody of that. He's like, he was, just, guys, you don't want to end up like Al Bundy.
Right.
He's miserable. And, there was a lot of other controversial, messages that the show tried to send, especially about Peggy, and even I would say Kelly, and the ever horny Bud, but
the ever horny Bud.
But yeah, I guess I'm curious to see what direction you go with this too, because it really, I mean, with a project like this and it being sensitive, it could be really bad if you go the wrong direction with it, or it could really be brilliant if you go the right direction with it. So, tell you what, I'm going to start.
Please start. Yes, please.
So what I kind of used for my roadmap here is a movie that was also based on a TV show, and this movie came out in the 90s, and it was the Brady Bunch movie.
Okay.
Now, what I was a big fan. Not everybody was. I like what it tried to do, where it was parodying the family and the times that they came from, which, obviously the Al Bundy male chauvinism, all that is ripe for parody if done tastefully.
Yep.
So I would, because of that, trust that same director. Her name is Betty Thomas. And she's gone on since that movie. She's done, she did Howard Stern's Private Parts movie, which I thought was really good. But then she also went on to doing like Dr. Doolittle, Eddie Murphy's Dr. Doolittle.
Eddie Murphy, okay.
And her most recent big project, was Alvin and the Chipmunks: The Squeakquel.
Oh God!
So I think she needs to be trusted again with something that's got a little bit of depth to it.
Ooh.
And I think you could. I would trust her. Seeing what she did there, I think she could. That to me,
put her back in her wheelhouse. Put it back in her wheelhouse.
Exactly. Yeah. I would trust her. So that's my choice. Who do you got?
I went a little more, I think, obvious with mine, in terms of, you got a raunch comedy coming out. You've had a director that's done a slew of these, and I think is smart enough to kind of know what's going on, and also tends to work with a lot of the same cast, although you will notice that I won't pick that cast. Judge Apatow.
Judd Apatow, huh?
I think this is squarely in his wheelhouse to do this and give it that modern twist that does kind of shed the light on some of these things aren't right.
Yeah, I can see that, and he's trusted. Yeah, I would trust him on some. What's the word I'm looking for here? Tricky. Some tricky choices, that he would have to definitely make, and finding a way to negotiate them and make them work. So taking Apatow, then who are you taking for Al Bundy then?
Okay. So I want to tell you, before I get to my real Al Bundy.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you that what I was going to do originally for this.
Seth Rogen?
No, I was going to pick Ted McGinley. Okay. I was going to pick Jefferson himself and have it be Jefferson gets divorced. He's living in this house and his whole life is shit, and Marcy moved next door. This is what I was going to do because I think that's fucking brilliant and that someone needs to make it happen.
I looked into Ted McGinley. He's doing like all these like Hallmark Christy like Christmas movies these days, dude. I don't know if he would come back for anything raunchy again. I think he's created a brand for himself in the family friendly market.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, dude, he was in Revenge. I suppose. I mean, he's probably been hanging out with Kirk Cameron.
Well, he's not your pick anyway. So who is your pick?
He is not my pick. So I wanted to go with kind of a lovable loser, something that is that you don't necessarily hate, and I want to see him come back so bad. Okay, I want to see this guy come back so bad. And yes, this is contemporary, but dude, you're not going to believe this. Pirate jerk off himself, Judge Reinhold.
Oh my God,
Judge Reinhold. He still looks young. He could do this. I would totally see him being an Al Bundy. Could totally do it.
You think do it. He's got such the low register on his voice, though. I think he could.
He does, but I think he could kick it up a notch. I think he's ready for it. I do. I know this sounds weird. I know it's like, hey, Judge Reinhold, he's been around for years. But I think he just needs to be given something. And much like Tarantino, I think Judd Apatow could take Reinhold and make him funny again.
Oh, okay. I mean, I respect your advocacy for Judge Reinhold. He needs it. Well, let me give you my pick, and then we'll keep on going here, and we'll come back to old Judge.
Okay.
My choice is an actor I trust to do anything, like literally anything. This guy can do anything, and his name is Sam Rockwell. From Moon, from 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, a billion gajillion other projects. He can play white trash. He can play the opposite. His range to me is unmatched. He is my ideal pick for who I would trust to pull off the role of Al Bundy.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, I do.
Don't be surprised if I pick him a lot, because I think very highly of this guy. Like, if I could, I'd cast him in anything, for reals.
No, right. Dude, I'm not going to harp on you whenever you pick him, but I will call you out if you do it too much.
No, that is fair. So then to pair with Sam Rockwell, a little bit of more of an obscure choice here for Peg. You would best know her for the role of Deputy Clementine Johnson on Reno 911.
Oh my God, brilliant.
Her name is Wendy McClendon Covey. And yes. I say you put a big fat red wig on top of her and hand her a box of bonbons and let her go. I think she would kill it.
Oh, I like her so much more than my choice.
Well, speaking of which, what is your choice? Now we have to hear.
So again, contemporary. I'm thinking of someone who's been around for a while. She does raunchy comedies. She does some pretty good stand-up that I think is progressive, which is what you need in this.
Sure.
Amy Schumer.
Yeah, I considered her, to be honest with you. I did. I went through like a site that had kind of like funny contemporary funny women, because I didn't want to. This one was tough for me because Katie Seagal was so. I mean, just like with Ed O'Neill, but Katie Seagal was so good and like made this role. Like, who could you ever put there that can do it any kind of justice? So I couldn't, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of anybody. Like nobody, all the funny women I know, I couldn't match them. Amy Schumer was probably towards the top of the list, but I just wanted to do a deeper dive, see if I could find a better match. And that's how I found Wendy McClendon Covey. But I will say that she was on my short list. So I don't think it was a bad choice at all.
No, okay, good. And I like your choice a lot because I think she's brilliant. Yeah, that's awesome. All right.
Who's your Kelly?
I don't think she'd do it. and I'm gonna fuck up her last name, so you're gonna have to help me with this.
That's fine.
Chloe from Kick-Ass.
Oh, fuck it. That's mine. That's mine.
Really?
That's mine. Yes.
Really? Hit Girl's yours?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it here. Chloe Grace Moretz from Kick-Ass and the vastly inferior remake of Let Me In.
Yes.
Yeah.
totally would be a great Kelly. Like that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, it really. I think that's why we both landed on it. Like she's talented. She could play however you want to write the role. Because again, it could be a tricky role, and you could just reinvent Kelly. Like you got to keep Al and Peg pretty much the same for them to be Al and Peg. But I think Kelly and Bud, you got a little more leeway to make them maybe a little more modern or whatever. You can do whatever. I think she could pull it off. I think so. Yeah, I think I'm not surprised we came on the last.
No, I'm not surprised
pick
either.
there.
All right, so who do you got for Bud?
Okay, so Bud is a little more obscure. Unless you've seen any shows he's been in, you're not going to know him by name because I didn't know. I had to look it up. But his name is Skylar Gazondo, and he is best known for playing the character Eric Bemis on Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh,
he was also in the last season of the Netflix Wet Hot American Summer series reboot, whatever. Been on a lot of. He was in the Righteous Gemstones. Just had a lot of bit parts. He looks like a Bud Bundy. I
sure,
guess.
Yeah,
He's got kind of that young kid quality, even though he's well into his 20s. He still looks like he could play like 15. And his comic timing is just, I mean, I recommend, if you haven't seen Santa Clarita Diet, you should. It's worth watching for all the people involved, but him especially, like, has stood out to me so much as his comic timing and delivery is just, for his age, kind of amazing.
So for my Bud, I cheated. Okay. And I'll explain my cheating. We're contemporary again. We can do a lot of things. Terminator, what Dark Fate or whatever the fuck that thing was, brought back a young Ed Furlong. Okay, so we can do a lot of things with de-aging in movies these days.
Yes,
don't have to do a whole lot with it, but I went with the cast that I had, and I went for a Bud Bundy, and for the type of humor it is, and they could probably do some of the songs. If you know where I'm going here. The band that this guy's in could probably do some of the songs for the movie.
Jonas Brothers.
No. Andy Samberg.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, they could always just do it like an ironic, like he's obviously way older, like they did in American Summer.
Yes. Yeah,
I guess I don't know. The only thing that would be very absurdist comedy. Judd Apatow doesn't really go that route, so I don't know that he'd sign off on it, but I think it would be hilarious.
Right.
That was a backhanded compliment if ever there was one, right?
It
took a second to think about that.
Well, it's more like, yeah, I mean, again, it's not his crew, right?
Sure.
It's not his crew, and you're taking a lot of power from him.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I think Andy Samberg is very funny. Makes me laugh, and I think he'd be hilarious in the role.
Yes.
I think, if you make it obvious that he's older, and then either through de-aging or even just give him a short haircut and dress him in clothes that a 16-year-old would wear, and that could be funny too.
All right, are you ready for I think you're going to like my Marcy and Jefferson.
I am excited. Go for it.
Leslie Jones and Steve Carell.
Nice.
Leslie Jones and Steve Carell. No question about that one. I love that pairing. I was giggling when I was writing it down. That to me could be comedic gold.
Yes. Well, there's no doubt it would be funny as hell. I like it. I like your picks.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to mine now.
Yes.
For me, for Darcy, I took Kristen Wiig. And the reason was just because I feel she's played similar kind of characters in SNL sketches before. So I think she'd kill it and be funny because she's funny. For Jefferson, though, I don't have a specific person. I just have a criteria.
Okay. All right.
My criteria is whatever Hemsworth you can get. So you start at Chris. You start at the top, right? You start with Thor.
Yep.
Probably not going to get Thor to play Jefferson Darcy on a Married with Children movie.
You might, because he loves comedy. Actually, Fat Thor, dude, he'd be all in on as Jefferson.
It's funny too that you say that, but he also did a bit funny role on the National Lampoon's Vacation remake with Ed Helms. He had like a throwaway like supporting role in that. That was really funny. So it's possible. That's why I didn't rule him out. And so you start there. If he's doing, another Men in Black movie, then you got to go down the list to Liam.
Okay.
Who is best known for the Hunger Games, right? He was the third star on that.
Yep.
It still might be a little bit of an uphill battle, in which case you settle on Luke, who is a supporting cast member on Westworld currently. I think is his only real credit. He also played, fun fact, in Thor Ragnarok. He played Thor in where Matt Damon played Loki, and he was Thor in that little play, funny bit at the beginning.
Yep.
So probably Luke Hemsworth, but aiming for Chris Hemsworth and willing to settle for Liam Hemsworth is my Jefferson Darcy.
Fair enough. All right. Who voices Buck?
All right. So Buck, first off in the show was a Briard, was his breed. Really shaggy looking dog, kind of a dry, in his delivery. I think they had a couple different people voice him throughout the years, but that's beside the point. I'm changing Buck to a pit bull.
Okay.
And I am voicing him with Michael Shannon.
Ooh,
because and he's going to be dark. He's going to be dark Buck. Because like Sam Rockwell, Michael Shannon, and Meryl Streep are like my royal trinity right now. But I know better than ever think I could get Meryl Streep to work on any project I was ever in charge of.
Right.
The other two I think are a little more gettable. So Michael Shannon, because I think he's just amazing and he's got a very intense voice. I think it could be a fun. I want a different kind of Buck.
Right.
I want one that's more significant than just a lazy, shaggy dog that just is like, bah, bah. I don't want that Buck. What do you? Who do you got?
Wiener Dog and Gilbert Godfrey. No. No.
Brilliant,
right? No, I picked for the voice. I picked Jason Mantzoukas.
Of course, yes.
Of course, I picked Jason Mantzoukas.
Yes, he's great at voiceover work, and he's likes to do podcasts. So he's always welcome to join us. By the way,
God,
I'm gonna put that out there right now.
Die if he joined our podcast. No,
so would he.
Right? Yeah, he'd be like, "How low did I fucking go?
My career's over."
Yeah. Jason Mantzoukas, absolutely. I love his voice. And he does a lot of great voiceover work. As far as the type of dog, I went back and forth, and I really wanted to go with something different. I think what would be hilarious is having a Chihuahua with Jason Mantzoukas' voice, and having this little yip dog that's kind of constantly on Peggy, and that type of thing. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Jason Mantzoukas as a Chihuahua.
I like it. So let's quickly kind of go over then what our visions then are now that we have all of our cast assembled. I will say, the Betty Thomas, I'm only picking her because of another project. Maybe I will probably concede you had the probably more realistic pick in Judd Apatow. I mean, I don't know if I'd say realistic, but just more likely to succeed.
Yeah, and it just seems like it's in his wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah. As
much as it kills me. I'm just kidding.
Right. No. That's fair. All right. So you did not like my choice of bringing back Reinhold. Belligerent me away. Let's hear it.
No, I like Judge Reinhold. It's nothing personal. It's just I have a hard time seeing him in the role. And it's not even, like, looks-wise, it's okay. It's just his delivery. I think of this privileged, white, dude jacking off in a bathroom in Malibu or wherever Ridgemont High was located. Right. I can't go from that Judge Reinhold to an Al Bundy Judge Reinhold.
Fair enough. And again, I like your pick. You can't go wrong with him. He's a solid actor, and I think he could pull it off. So I'm going to concede because I had a really hard. No, I just had a really hard time with that.
Yeah, it is hard. These are iconic. They're iconic roles. It's telling we had so much more fun and flexibility with the supporting cast than we did with Al and Peg. I mean, these are you can't get them wrong or the whole movie's going to suck.
Right. All right. What about I'm sorry, I love Amy Schumer. I'm gonna stick really hard with that one. I think she would nail a Peg. But at the same time, I've been a fan since the state of your pick. Like, she is comedic gold, and I think she would. I mean, if we're going to stay, if we're not really going to kind of change it around, we're looking for who could play Peg Bundy. I do think yours is better.
Well, thanks. And I would want to give her the shot because I think Amy Schumer is, well on her way. Wendy McClendon Covey, I don't think most people know her name. They may have seen her on Reno 911 or like guest roles elsewhere, or from the state. But I don't know. It just feels like it'd be a night. She's deserving of a good break like this. That's kind of what led me to pick her over the Amy Schumers of the world. And she's really funny. I mean,
she's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a prerequisite, of course.
And I think she's naturally funny. And I think in something like this, knowing Judd, he would do some. If we're going to go with Judd, he does a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Improv.
Improv, yes.
Improv.
Oh, yeah.
And
she's obviously
out. Yeah. Okay. All right. Totally concede.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to declare a tie for our Kelly Bundy, seeing as it was the exact same person.
That's crazy we picked the same person, dude.
But is it, though? I mean, she is such the logical pick.
She really is. I could not. I racked my brain trying to think of anyone that could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chloe Grace Moretz, I believe, is how you pronounce all of her name. For Bud Bundy, I don't think you don't know mine.
I don't know yours.
So this makes it a little difficult. And then yours was Andy Samberg.
Right.
I think we're probably going to stick with our own picks on this. Because you have nothing to go off of with mine, and I love mine so much.
And that's fair. And again, like I said, you'd have to do some de-aging with Andy Samberg, right? But I think you could change Bud around. Like Bud was kind of this. In the beginning of the show, he was a complete loser, and then later he became the suave guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to do the movie, you're going to go with the lovable loser that is Bud. And I do think Andy Samberg, much like Ralph Macchio, does a really good job of kind of playing that charismatic loser. Like,
you love your lovable losers.
You love your lovable losers, and that's what Bud Bundy is. Bud Bundy was a lovable loser.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Marcy and Jefferson, what do you got? Who do you think?
So this is a tough one because I love your picks are so out of left field that they're hard not to root for. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just give. This is like the Cards Against Humanity kind of choice here. I'm gonna give you the win because it just caught me so off guard.
Could you imagine the dynamic between Leslie Jones and Steve Carell, though? Like, if you think about what the Marcy character is and you think about what the Jefferson character is, it just to me was like, this would actually work. Like, this fits that dynamic so fucking well.
Right. No, I agree. I'm giving that one to you then. So then I got Michael Shannon as a pit bull for Buck, and you had, remind me again?
I had Jason Mantzoukas as a Chihuahua.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to get him on our show, so
ambitious on the pilot.
I know, right? Dude, we aim for the fences, man.
Fuck, dude, we don't hold back, do we?
Babe Ruth and this shit. I'll give you the win there. Just he is a good choice. It's hard for me to not go with Michael Shannon, but there'll be more Michael Shannon choices.
Will be. And I will say something about Michael Shannon. One of my favorite things that he did do was that cheerleader reading for Fun or Die.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Just great.
He's so great. He's so fucking great.
All right. I think we are going to take one more break here before we come back and tie it all up in a nice little package and put a nice little bow on top. Does it sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
All right. We'll be back in a heartbeat or two.
They're barely in time, hands intertwined, rolling in ragged like death on the dance floor. There ain't nothing I'd know.
There are so many mattress options these days, from spring mattresses to foam mattresses to memory foam mattresses. Hell, some mattresses now have remote controls. What kind of nonsense is that? But I digress. It's time to treat yourself to ultimate comfort and the softest mattress on the market by ordering the Light as a Feather bed made of 100% feathers. You will never want to leave your bed. Go to lightасafeatherbed.com.org.us.uk today and see what you've been missing. We currently only accept Bitcoin for payment, and there are no refunds because that's kind of not possible. But none of that matters because you will love your new mattress. Light as a feather bed, soft, comfort, feather.
Love, it lasts in the world so sweetly so. It's late on each breath that leaves my lungs. I recall every virtue embraced in a memory.
Joe,
Yeah, Tom.
this was fun.
This is a lot of fun.
You promised me fun games, and I was skeptical, and you gave me fucking fun fucking games.
I come through, man. I don't know what else to tell you. Like,
And the best fun in games is when I don't have my pants on.
I told you so.
You told me. You told me. You taught me the
said.
way.
Pants are not fun.
So, we definitely are going to be doing this again.
Yeah.
But I think, if you guys enjoy the show and you like what we're doing here, please, by all means, share the podcast, like it, come back, by all means. This is how else are you going to get this entertainment from two fucking schlubs from Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean,
And they're probably getting off on our accent, right? Like, how many people are listening to us right now going, who are these two fucking crazy ass Fargo fucks talking about these movies like they fucking know shit?
I have an accent?
Oh, yeah, you have an accent.
Oh, my God. All right. Yeah, no, it's been a great time. Yeah, I think we have a endless well of potential projects to talk about and things to cast, and I just think that and hopefully down the road, I was being tongue-in-cheek about I call him Jason, I call him Jay, potentially down the road being a guest on her podcast. Maybe, like you said, getting a little ahead of myself, but down the road we are planning on trying to maybe bring in guests who want to play these games with us. And we just need we need to get the word out. So, listen to it, like it, tell your friends about it, help us out any way you can. We would super duper appreciate it. And that's really our only chance of making this anything. But we're gonna keep doing it until we have reason not to, right, Tom?
I'm on board.
Well, that's good because there's only two of us, so I think we both need to be here to make it work. So anyway, I'm Joe McDougall.
And I'm Tom Van Horton.
And this has been Cast That Movie, and we hope to have you hear us next time. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.